Hello and welcome to another video session here at NAV SEAL. Delighted to see you again. Today I wanted to talk about transfer orders. And why do we need transfer orders? Well, transfer orders is typically used when you want to move inventory between locations or between warehouses. Now a location, when we create a location in Business Central, a location can mean different things to you. A location could be a warehouse, a big warehouse, a small warehouse. It could also mean a truck, a representative, a sales representatives, a car where you keep some inventory in it. It might be some demo items. But basically you want to keep track of your inventory and where it is, which location have you got that inventory. Because if you don't do that and you keep it in your main inventory, that inventory number is going to be wrong if it's actually physically moved somewhere else. Don't kind of misunderstand the words bin and locations because it's two different things. Look at it like this. If you have a warehouse, you have a building. Inside that building, you have racks, you have shelves. Those racks and shelves, those are bins. The warehouse, that's a location. That's typically how I try to explain the difference between a bin and a location. But let's try and get into it. Let me show you how you can create a transfer order moving items from one location to another location. Let's search for transfer orders. In here we can create a new transfer order. So now we have to tell the system where are we transferring this inventory from. So let's have a look at the list. This is my Kronos company with all of the Kronos setups with the warehouses that exist in here. So we have 4 different warehouses. So let me say, okay, I'm going to take something from our main warehouse and I'm going to transfer that to our east warehouse like that. So physically, I'm going to put it onto a truck. I'm going to have that truck drive to the other warehouse and they're going to receive that inventory into the east warehouse when they receive it over there. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that a transfer like that could be minutes to days to weeks. Just imagine if you order something from abroad, from Asia, and you kind of you own that inventory the minute you buy it. So when you buy it from a factory in China, for example, you own that, so you're gonna be able to report those numbers that you actually have that inventory. But it might be in a container, it might be on a ship on the way to your inventory, your warehouse in the US, for example. So that's one way to look at transfer orders. So the time it actually comes to the port, for example, that could be your transfer from code. Now, when it's on the ship, we have something called an in-transit code. An in-transit means it's not in the main warehouse and it's not in the east warehouse, but it's on the way from main to east. So it's in there. So just imagine it's on a ship, a container ship, and it's going to take weeks before it actually gets to the east warehouse. That is why we have something called in-transit codes. You can call it whatever you want to call it. In here it's called our own logistics. Now, let's tell the system what is the item we want to transfer, and we'll just make a simple one here. We'll take one of our Paris guest chairs. We are gonna transfer 3 of that. Down here on the line you can see we have a quantity, the 3 we're gonna transfer. You can see we have a quantity to ship, a quantity shipped, quantity to receive, and quantity received. Now, just if you know sales orders, for example, and purchase orders, you know that you can decide how many you want to ship and how many you want to receive on a PO, for example. So in our scenario here, we're going to say, okay, we're going to ship all 3 that we ordered on our transfer order. We're going to ship that from our main location. When we're ready to do that, we can post that transaction. Before we do it, let's try and have a look at the print up here. Oh, let me do something more down here. Look at the shipment tab down here. We can put in shipping method codes, and it could be anything that you set up. We can have a shipping agent. Let's just say it's FedEx, just for the example here. Now let's try and print that. Let's just preview it. And let's just do it like this. So you can see this is very simple transfer. We're gonna transfer from our main warehouse, Michigan, and we're gonna send it to our East warehouse in Atlanta in our little example here. And we can see down here, we have some information about the shipment method, the transfer order number, and then we have the lines down here. We're only having one line on the transfer. You have multiple lines, of course, here. So we only transferring 3 Paris guest chairs from Main to East. Okay, cool. Now we're ready to actually ship that. So in this scenario, it might be FedEx is coming to our warehouse. They're gonna pick up those chairs and now they're gonna put it onto the truck and they are gonna drive to our East warehouse in Atlanta. So once we put it onto the truck, we're gonna post that transaction. Oh, I'm not gonna print it, sorry about that. Let's get down here, we're gonna post it. And it's gonna prompt us and say, okay, what is it you wanna do? Do you wanna ship it or do you wanna receive it? Now, we have to ship it first before we can receive it. So we're gonna accept the ship option. It's gonna post that. And as you can see here, now it moves into the column called quantity shipped. And now it's actually in the location owned logistics. It's not in the main location anymore. So if we went out to the warehouse and we tried to do an inventory count, for example, those 3 would have been taken away from the inventory and now it's in transit. It's not showing in East because we haven't received it yet. Now a day passed by, or however, how long it takes to actually get from to our East warehouse here. And once they get there and the truck drives up to the warehouse, they unload it and we get it into the warehouse, we are ready to receive it into our other warehouse, the East warehouse. And to do that, we will post again. And now we want to receive it. So when I receive that, oh, one thing more to tell, I have to put in how many to receive. I want to receive them all. And again, you could say there's a control here, there's a check here. So when they receive it at the East warehouse, they're gonna take it off the truck, they're gonna count it and say, okay, making sure there's actually 3 Paris guest chairs in here. And that is what they're gonna put in here and say, okay, that is what I'm gonna receive. Okay, perfect, let's post that. We're gonna receive it, yeah. And we're gonna post it. And now it's gonna delete the transfer order. Just like any other document in BC, you know, like a sales order, a purchase order, once you have completed, it will go away. And it will go into our posted transfer orders in here. Posted transfer, receipts and shipment. So if we look at the posted transfer, we can see the top one up here. This is our document from when we shipped it from our main warehouse. So we do have a full documentation in here. It's like any other transaction on this item in here. And we do have the same when we search for our posted transfer receipts. So we also have documentation for that. So basically this is how you can do a posted or do a transfer order moving inventory from one location to another location. I know there's other ways to do that, to actually move it from one location to another location, like reclass journals. And you can definitely do that as well. You have more paper control on this. You have a better audit trail, I think personally, that if you do create transfer orders, it is easy to follow up and you can actually hand a piece of paper out to the truck driver so when they receive it at the East, you do have some documentation of what we're gonna receive in our East warehouse. One thing I also wanna mention right now is that when you transfer something from one location to another location, the system needs to know the in-transit code. I don't know if you noticed, but when I created the transfer order, it actually filled this value in automatically. I didn't put it in. So where does it come from? Let me try and show you that. There's something called transfer routes. And a transfer route, as you can see it here, tells the system if I'm moving anything. So you see the second line down here. If I'm transferring from Main to East, this is my 2 column out here, it's East, Main, North, West, and so on. Which in-transit code am I gonna use? So that's a setup in here. If I did not fill this in, I would have to fill it in manually because the system needs to know what is the in-transit code when we're doing transfer orders. Now, I hope this makes some sense at least. Feel free to ask questions or make comments to the video. Happy to reply to it. But again, look for our next video. Looking forward to meet you again.
Thanks for watching this video from NAV SEAL. Check out more right here. NAV SEAL offer assistance and counsel on any existing solution. So if you're in need of assistance, don't hesitate to contact us on navseal.com or LinkedIn. Consider leaving a like and subscribe for more tips, news, and guides to anything Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central.